back. Sorry, I've been a little rude. Sorry, I've been a little MIA. I've been readjusting to being back home and taking summer classes. But today I wanted to discuss the pros and cons of ASU based on my experience, just because, I don't know, I want other people to have more information, or I guess more like honest information than what I was able to gather just, you know, from Google searches and stuff. You know, I relied on other people's YouTube videos, but because I made my college decision during COVID times, I was never able to even go on campus, so that kind of made it a little trickier. But I wanted to give my personal opinions about Arizona State University, West Campus, Barrett, just kind of all my own like personal things. I am not affiliated with anything at ASU. This is just like my opinion. Everybody obviously can think different things. Some people absolutely love it there. Some people absolutely hate it there. It's gonna vary. Everybody has their own experience there, but I thought I would just give my experience so then maybe it could provide you guys some information as well. To start off, I think I'm gonna talk about West Campus in general, just because that's where I lived. Freshman year, all the freshmen live in Casa de Oro. Super nice dorms compared to like most college campuses I've seen. And CDO, there is like a nice divider, so there is still a little bit of privacy between you and your roommate. Bathroom's huge, everybody has their own sink, wonderful, love the dorms, very nice conditions. Except if you're on the first floor and you are near the quad, because you will have leaf blowers blowing at your window almost every morning at like 4 a.m. It'll be fucking insane. Maybe they'll change that, I don't know, I doubt it, but just so you guys know. And the first floor is all Barrett students, which I'll get into later, but I think my friends who are on the like higher, can you move? No, nobody wants to see your butthole. My friends who are on the higher floor, I don't think they ever had to deal with that. So CDO dorms, it's a pro. CDO dorms are super nice. Other pros of West Campus, it's really quiet besides the leaf blowers. There isn't a lot going on all the time. It's a lot calmer compared to the Tempe and downtown campuses. I can't really speak for Poly because I think I'd only like driven by it once. It doesn't take long to get anywhere at all. I think it's maybe a 5 to like 10-minute stroll from one end of campus to the other. Everything's super easily located. The gym is super nice there. For the most part, the gym isn't super crowded. The quad is also kind of nice, but nobody walks across it. Like, it feels like there's some weird like taboo, like you can't walk across the quad. The quad is nice. There's a whole bunch of little like seating areas around there. I really enjoyed how close the dining hall was. The dining hall and the pod are connected to each other. They're right across from CDO. Unfortunately, the pod usually wasn't always like stocked as full as it needed to be. La Sala's super close, you know, that leads into like UCB and Delph Courtyard. I like Delph Courtyard. That's a very nice, quiet place to sit. They have the little fountain, lots of shade over there too. And then you have Fletcher Library. That is usually not too crowded, I would say. For the most part, I don't think I've really had issues with the library. Sometimes the Wi-Fi is a little crappy. Fletcher Lawn is also really nice too. There's a little fountain out there. Nobody goes over there outside of like class hours. Kiva Lecture Hall, I can't really speak for like how Sands is just because I haven't had classes in there, but Sands is right there. And then CLCC, most of my classes were in there. Very navigable building, I guess you could say. Yeah, everything's super close. Lots of pretty areas on campus, like even behind Fletcher Library, they have this little like path and like a little like green area. They have multiple fields. I don't know. It is a really pretty campus. And then for Las Casas, that's where all like the upperclassmen live. You have your own kitchen. You have your own bedroom, which is super nice. Depending on how it is, if it's 4 people, it's 2 people share one bathroom, 2 people share the other bathroom. But it's still very nice. You know, it comes with a couch, you know, fully furnished. The Las Casas dorms aren't as nice as the CDO ones, but still in comparison to a lot of other housing options on other campuses or like other schools, this is very good. And then as for the cons about kind of like West as a whole, there isn't really a ton going on. Like, clubs will still put on events, and it's good to go to them, and you know, sometimes you get, you know, free stuff, but overall it's a lot harder to find stuff. I'll follow the ASU PAB account, like the main one, and I'll see, oh my gosh, like movie night tonight, or oh, we have this like pop-up stand or something like by the Union or something. I don't know, they just always like post random stuff. And I see it and I go, oh my god, that's great, like it's today. And then I realize, oh, it's happening in 15 minutes and I would have to shuttle 30 minutes to get there. That's what kind of sucks, because most of like the big events are on the main campuses. Overall, there aren't nearly as much, and they aren't nearly as big or spontaneous, not spontaneous, but like, I don't know, it's not the same as if it would have been at like the main campus. Also, that being said, you would have to shuttle to most major events if you don't have a car, and that's like a 30-ish minute shuttle ride, which like, it's not horrible. When I was going into this, when I was picking out my campus, because it depends on where your major is, once you kind of get freshman year under your belt, you can kind of live wherever and then just like shuttle to different campuses, but they want you on like your campus for the first year. But I thought I would be more willing to shuttle for events rather than classes, because I thought, oh, like I want, you know, my campus to be quiet, academic based, you know, and then I would rather like leave to go to like some crazy event. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Shuttle for classes. Like, if you have to choose whether it's shuttling for events or shuttling for classes, shuttle for classes. Please do me a favor. Do it for me. Pick the campus you want to live at based off of what do they have there. Do you have friends? Do you like the environment? Like, you can shuttle for classes, it's fine. Another con is the Herberger School. It's this like school for like gifted like middle school and high schoolers. So there are always a bunch of kids out, which is just like kind of annoying, because I'm like, cool, that's great. Like, very proud of you, very happy for you that you guys are finding the education that you want and you like, it's best fit for you. But like, why does it have to be on my campus? Like, there is one main walkway from Las Casas to the opposite side of campus, which would be CLCC. So if you're going to class, you will be met with a bunch of young children playing Foursquare in the middle of the thing. They don't understand. They don't care. I've gotten hit before. But that's also kind of like a minor con. It's just kind of like, why do you guys have to be here? But it's not that big of a deal. Another con is that it's located in Glendale. There's not really much to do in Glendale. Glendale is not a college town. Really, if you wanted to go somewhere like fun, 20-minute drive. Westgate, 20 minutes away. The mall is like 15-20 minutes away, which I mean, like, even where I live, like home now, like the mall is like 20 minutes away, but still there are places that I can go that aren't 20 to 25 minutes away. Now I'm going to talk about Barrett, the honors college. I was in Barrett. I found out that I could graduate this upcoming fall, which would have been my like junior year fall. So I said, okay, so I'm dropping Barrett. I was in Barrett my freshman year, technically my sophomore year, this past year. At the end of this past spring semester, I emailed them, I dropped it. Super easy to drop, not that big of a deal. Barrett, pros and cons, it's kind of really the, like, in most of this stuff, it's really like what you make out of it. Like, you get out what you put in. So for the pros, you have to take a human event class, and some people hate this, but I actually really liked it. I really loved my professor. And like, I met Maya in that class, so like, shout out to you. You get assigned a bunch of these like old classic readings, and then you just kind of like talk about them. I really liked being able to kind of like pick apart the pieces, because not a lot of my classes in high school did that, so that was really nice. And then like, I think you have like 3 papers depending on the professor. Human event professors like notoriously grade like harder than the typical writing professor would. So there's like, oh, few people get like an A in human event, blah blah blah. Like, it's possible. They do definitely grade you harder. I mean, I think I gained some good skills from it, but I feel like I was fortunate enough to have a good education prior to human event that I already had a really good base of writing skills. Human event, I did really like it. Free printing. Barrett students get free printing, although I only really had to print out stuff for like my geology class, but it is always nice to have as like a backup. Another pro is that Barrett has exclusive events and swag. So from Barrett, I have gotten free headphone, like free Bluetooth headphones. I haven't used them yet, so they might work like shit, but I don't know. I'm gonna say that they're cool. I've gotten, you know, a beach towel. I've gotten a duffel bag, which is now like my new favorite thing. I've gotten like free shirts from them, you know, pens and all this stuff, because you get Barrett bucks. So I like stocked up on them and cashed them in for swag. So probably the biggest pro for Barrett is that you get priority registration. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. One of the other big things about Barrett is that, like I had mentioned, when you're at CDO, you are on the first floor with other Barrett students. You have to room with other Barrett students. Could be good, could be bad. It kind of helps you form, you know, a good base. A lot of my friends freshman year were just the people that were in my hall. I did meet my first friends because of Barrett. Also, Barrett students, I believe, have to live on campus for 2 years, which, like, that's not that bad. I mean, like, if you move to Tempe 1 year after, if you move to Tempe your sophomore year, you're good. I don't really know much about the Tempe, like, housing though, so I don't know much about Tempe at all, so I can't really speak too much for that. As for cons of Barrett, I think it's like 1,000 extra a year. I don't think it's per semester, I think it's per year, so that's another financial burden for some people. Honors contracts, basically they're just like extra like projects or something, or like research, whatever, that you'll do with a professor of your choice if they accept it, and you can get honors credit. Basically, it's just a way for you to create a stronger, deeper bond with faculty, and a way for you to get honors credit in a non-honors class. I did a whole bunch my freshman year. I think I did enough my freshman year to cover the amount that I needed for my sophomore year too. But of course, I wasn't actually like bonding with the professors. Like in one of my classes, I literally said, hey, can I do an embroidery project? And she said, yes, that's perfect. So I did it in one night. Like I just wasn't putting in like the right effort for them. Like I tried finding the easiest thing, because some professors say like, yes, I accept honors contracts, but if you want to do an honors contract, the assignment is like a 10-page research paper. Thankfully, I didn't have any of those professors, so I was able to kind of like do whatever I wanted. But because it was over Zoom my freshman year, I really didn't bond with any of my professors, which sucks. And I understand that the honors contracts were supposed to help like counter that, but I didn't really use that to my full advantage. You also have to create your thesis in order to like graduate from Barrett, and I believe that's a 2-semester long like project. Because I'm graduating this summer, I didn't have enough time to do my thesis, and I didn't know that I was graduating this summer until last fall. So it wasn't the right timeline for me. Just with a thesis, I'm sure that would have given me a lot of good experience, but I didn't have enough time to actually even like consider what I wanted to do. For ASU as a whole, we'll start with cons first. We'll end on a good note. The professors are like fairly mid. Not all of them though. There are very special professors that are near and dear to my heart, and they know who they are. Of course, like you're gonna have mid professors at every fucking college, but I have had many like there was one professor I had that like didn't teach us, and I'm pretty sure he got so many poor reviews the semester that I had him that he no longer teaches there. Pay for a certain education, and I mean it is a state school, but like you do still pay for your education, so it just sucks when you have professors that like is there for their research rather than like professing. So that is really kind of frustrating. Very similar, advisors are usually not the most helpful, but again, that's just a notorious thing about college advisors. I feel that there's a heavy emphasis on Greek life. Like it's not the thing where it's like, oh my god, if you're not in Greek like you won't have friends. Like it's not like that, but it's a party school. I didn't want to have to travel 30 minutes to a party just to have to travel 30 minutes back. Everybody's very like fit and like toned and stereotypically like beautiful, so keep track of your mental health and your self-esteem if you go to school there. Food is pretty mid. Food is fine. They have less options at West. Barrett has its own dining hall on the Tempe campus, and I believe they have like an ice cream bar or something like that. There are different options depending on what campus you're on. Like our pod on West campus closed at like 10 my freshman year, and I think it's open until like 11 now. But then you talk to people from Tempe, and you know their pod, or they have a dining hall that's open until 2 or something like that. So I don't know, I mean like it makes sense because of the different amount of students on each campus, but still it's really frustrating. But for the pros, because we're gonna end on a high note, ASU takes almost all of your AP and like dual enrollment like credits, which is how I was able to graduate 2 years early. So that's really, 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 really clutch of ASU to take basically everything that I had already taken. The weather's great, except for my freshman year in August when it was like 120 degrees. I spent almost every day of the week this past spring like at the pool, because they finally opened up the pool by Las Casas, so that was really nice. Oh, and I forgot to mention the mailroom's kind of over by the Las Casas dorms too, so like that's very nice. Super easy to get there, but if you're in CDO, you can't access the like mail center on the weekends, but like nobody can access the mail center on the weekends, so, like that's just putting that out there. In my opinion, if you know me as a person, like personally, like in my personal life, this will make sense to you, but like obviously it's different for every person. I feel like most of my classes were fairly easy. Like even my like upper level, like yeah, sure, there were like assignments that were like challenging and stuff like that, but I don't think there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, this is the pot. Well, I did have one professor, but that was because the professor didn't teach. That wasn't a me issue. But that also depends on your major. I took forensic psych. I'm a forensic psych major. 2 of the classes were like basically the same fucking thing. You have to take forensic psychology and then you have to take psych and law. They're like they're slightly different, ever so slightly. I'm like, all you had to do was take that one unit from the one class, place it in there, get rid of the other class. Anyway, I think one of my biggest like pros for ASU is that they had the I courses and they have the session A and B classes. So if you're like me and if you're good with your time management, if you like to move through things quickly, like if you can handle that like go type of thing, these classes might be extremely beneficial for you. Basically, I don't know how many other schools do this, but an Excel course first 7 weeks, second 7 weeks. So I did that. I think my sophomore year fall, I had like the busiest that I did. That's one of the ways that I was able to get so many credits so I could graduate early, because I was taking these classes at an accelerated rate. So I was able to just kind of like move through them and just kind of like check them off my list, which was very good for me because personally, ASU, it was too hard for me being away from everybody else that I know. Like my entire family is on the East Coast. So being quite literally almost on the exact opposite side of the country was like very hard for me. It might be that way for other people, but honestly, I do definitely think that it was a good experience for me to have, having to move across the country, having to, you know, get this, you know, experience this completely different, you know, culture. Definitely very thankful for it. Very thankful that ASU did have the options and opportunities that allowed me to graduate so early, even if it wasn't my favorite 2 years of school. You know, I had good experiences. I met new people, I tried new things, and honestly, that's really all that you can ask for besides a good education. But anyway, I want to say take everything with a grain of salt. This is just, like I said, my opinions, my experiences, but hopefully this shed a little bit more light on what it's like being there. If you guys have any questions, just put them down there, put them on one of my other like ASU videos. I'll answer them because it's fun to answer questions. But other than that, I just want to say thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon in another video.